We get a CM Punk promo up next, and Chicago is hot for this guy. Some of the notable things that was mentioned in this is that he liked to have Mania be in Chicago. However, I don't think that people want to be outside in that stadium in that cold for WrestleMania. Absolutely not. We did it at MetLife. I was there and it was freezing. And for some reason, there was a dude that was butt ass and painted in lime green about 3 rows away from me in smalls. That shit was crazy. Wrestling fans are nuts. Punk says that it's a big title match at Mania and he wants to be a part of it. No, he can't wrestle, but he says his mouth works. And we're not on Netflix yet, so he can't show us how. I don't know why he decided to go in that. You know what? It's too many of those like sky blue shirts that he be wearing. Punk's been trying to tell us something ever since he went back to AEW. He says that a lot of people have been talking about him. Roman was on Pat McAfee's show talking about him. And on Roman's way down, CM Punk is going to be climbing a ladder. And they're going to be meeting pretty soon. All right, well, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Right now, I don't really have any investment in him because I don't really see the chemistry between those two. But I mean, I guess, Punk did bring him on to the main roster and storyline. So, there's that part of the story. He put over Cornette's podcast. That was cool because I mess with the Cornette's podcast. I think I mess with both of them. I just catch the highlights that they put on YouTube. So I don't listen to the whole thing. But I probably should because like he'll chop them things up and put them out 2 weeks later. I probably should listen to the live ones. I just don't know when they come on. But there was a funny bit when he mentioned that The Rock is one person that hasn't mentioned him. And he said it's probably because The Rock realized that his arms are too short to box with God. And right there, they even did they did it the exact same way where they had to zoom in on Punk's face when he delivered the line, had the same facial expression and everything when he said it to The Rock. However, there's a problem with that. Punk, there's a bit of a problem there. You lost, kid. You lost. You lost. So maybe, just maybe, Punk's arms weren't large enough to box with God. Just a thought. Just a thought. He says that Drew is an internet troll, but when Punk has a problem, here's how they do it in Chicago. He handles it like a man, and out comes Drew. During Drew's entrance, Punk did something that I don't know if this is like a lost art or just something that we don't really get a chance to see too often. I think I could vaguely remember Triple H doing this. No, Austin did it. Austin did this. Oh my God, this is a throwback to Austin. When Triple H came out and did his entrance, all of you are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Triple H comes out, he does his whole entrance, and he gets up on the ring apron. Austin's in the ring. Austin's in the ring just looking pissed. Absolutely fuming. And Triple H gets up on the ring apron. Shut that fucking music off. Shut it off. Shut it off. Spit your little beady water out. Oh, you all know exactly which segment that I'm talking about. And he just castrated him from there on. CM Punk essentially did the same thing. Turn that stupid music off. And then he's just begging for him to get into the ring. I don't know why he wants him to get in the ring so bad. He's a guy with one arm. Maybe he just wanted to look him in the eye, but all right, whatever. But it's kind of a callback to what Seth did to him the week prior. Was it last week or maybe it was the week before where Drew's his music was playing as he was leaving out, and then Seth music hit and he just blew right past him as if he just didn't exist. And it's like, we just going to keep interrupting this guy's music as if he's a nobody. And it's funny, but I really think that it's a play to bring Drew down a little bit so that when he wins, it's just going to mean that much more. The exchange between Punk and Drew was good, but I'm not a play-by-play guy. Go back and watch it. I'll give y'all some more tidbits from this, but I am definitely not the play-by-play guy. As Drew was cutting his promo, Punk was just insistent, just please get in this ring. Whatever you're saying, I can't hear. Say it in my good ear. Just get in this ring. And the way he delivered it, get your bitch ass in this ring. And I said it in the prior video when it was in the video about the double standard about The Rock and how people say that they can't curse in their promos. And I mentioned that they like to spam the word bitch a lot. Now tell me, since I put out that video, and maybe you've already been noticing it before this, am I bugging or are they saying it even more now? It's like everybody is just spamming the word bitch. It's like they have like a bitch quota, or it's like bitch is the only curse word they could say, so they just lean deep into it. Anyway, out comes Seth, and Seth coming out and his entrance made me realize something. Earlier in this segment, when Punk mentioned Seth, the crowd booed. But out comes Seth, and this crowd is singing his song. He gets in the ring, and they're singing his song. And Punk says, this may be your show, but this is my city. And, you know, the crowd's back behind him. It's just making me realize just how fickle fans are. Now, I'm not saying this to be disparaging or disrespectful. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. Just let me know how you feel about this. But I don't think that wrestling fans of today are good wrestling fans. Fans just want to have a good time. And there's nothing wrong with that. However, fans today don't pick a side. Like, how can we have a meaningful babyface or a meaningful heel? How can someone get over as a heel or babyface when the crowd is cheering both? Because it's fun and they're just having a good time. Again, nothing wrong with that. But to me, it kind of interferes with the presentation of said wrestler, because we don't know if we should be staunchly against this guy and staunchly in favor of the other. Right? I mean, on an individual basis, you can be, okay, I'm on this guy's side, I'm against this guy. But let's say a casual fan that doesn't know these people tune in and they hear you cheering both people. Well, who am I supposed to like? Who am I supposed to dislike? You know, it's kind of weird. And for them to 1 second be booing Seth, and then now, since his entrance happened and his music is going and they do the whoa, they do that whole thing. It's like this, fans are just fickle. You're even in CM Punk's city, and you know CM Punk and Seth have huge problems with each other, and you sing his song. To me, it makes no sense. So I think that fans really should draw a line in the sand. You're either going to be with somebody or you're going to be against them. That's just where I am. You don't have to be that way. It's just my thought process. Maybe something that y'all never thought of, because I never thought about it until this entrance. But again, I'm not the play-by-play guy. Good. Was it a back and forth, or was Seth just cooking? Let me say this about Seth. Seth's been cooking lately. Seth's been cooking, and I think that over the past 3 weeks, matter of fact, I will say since the Royal Rumble, Seth has done a good service with this title, and he hasn't even wrestled once. The title today feels like a bigger deal since Seth got hurt and hasn't wrestled. I don't know what to say about that, but it kind of feels that way. And here's why. This title is going to be represented in the main event of night 1 of WrestleMania, right? The title is going to be, so Seth knows, like, all right, I'm not going to get me a title match, or I'm not going to get a main event match at WrestleMania. Let me find a way to get myself into the main event and bring the title along with me, right? So there's that aspect. Him having that title and putting it into the same picture as the top title, Rock, Roman, Cody, the big story, And then, I mean, Seth is the outlier, but that title is there. So when people watch this in the future, let's say 15 years into the future, when your memory goes a little hazy on the events that happened that led up into this WrestleMania, you're going to remember that that title was a part of this match. Not saying it was contested in this match, but the champion was a part of this big, huge match that's happening. That's one. Two, Drew wants that title bad. Punk wanted that title. Well, Punk really wanted to be in the main event of WrestleMania, but contending for the title. That also makes it a big deal. Drew wants all of his Seth's attention and focus on him for Mania. He doesn't want any distractions. He wants Seth to be at 100%. I feel him on that. However, he feels as though Seth has just been ignoring him. Now, here's where I say I like the way Seth has been over the past few weeks, because he was ignoring Drew. But it's like he said, once the lights are shining bright on you, are you going to step up? Right? So now Seth is giving him a sample. He's like, all right, I'm going to put my attention on you. And in these promos, he's been burying Drew. Not only that, but any chance he gets, he's putting them palms on Drew. And then it's just the way he carries himself on Raw in these past few weeks, just the past few weeks, where he's still a cross-dresser. However, he's gotten more serious. And that's the thing since the Rumble. He's gotten more serious. It's the dressing that just throws everything off. If you put Seth in a man's wardrobe, hell, you could just put him in a t-shirt and some sweats and he'll be fine. Just get rid of the bell bottoms. If you just have him look normal and you listen to his promos and you watch how he carries himself, you'll be like, oh my God, that's a champion. Drew turned his back for a second, which Drew accuses Seth of doing. Drew is saying that Seth is not paying attention. He's ignoring him. He's putting his attention on something else. So Seth, the moment that Drew put his attention on something else, Seth destroyed him. Grabbed his title, walked out, held head high, like he was the man. And it looked that way. It felt that way. It was perfect. It was perfect. Because he made Drew look small. He made Punk look small. And he made himself look like the man. That's what your champion needs to do. Somewhere in here, I'm going to try to draw a connection to Cody. But that's going to be for another video. I got some theory videos that's going to be coming out on this bloodline thing. But anyway, excellent segment. It did go long. I don't think long in a bad way, but I think that they did good with the amount of time that they had. They had a lot of time. They were in Chicago and it's Punk. You're going to get some time. Punk's theatrics throughout the promo segment, active. And I think that that's just something that more promos need of other people. Get animated in your promos. Put some feeling in it. Put some action to it. Do something so that way your promo can stand out. And when referenced in the future, you can say, well, remember that time that he did this? And you say, yeah, okay, I remember that promo. It's a really simple way to get your stuff over. And I think it's a lost art in today's wrestling.